to be the lists that Santa would check twice. Is when we would pull out the Sears catalog and we'd get to go through and you could make the wish list and could put anything on it that you wanted, from cars to horses to the little micro machines that would go in the stocking. But also I have a favorite Christmas memory that was when we were hanging up the stockings. We were all a little sugar deprived because it wasn't good for us, and I found Milk Duds in the bottom of my stocking before we hung it up and was so excited because they were still good even after a year old. So that's my favorite memories.
My favorite tradition is making cookies, and I still do it. I love cookies.
Okay, a memory that I would cherish about Christmas would be the stockings that Mom made for each of us. I remember when there would be a new baby and she would get out her flannel box and start looking through coloring books for the perfect animal for the new baby, and then hanging them up on the big beam and seeing how many. It filled half the room with all of our stockings. And then in the morning of Christmas, when we'd come out and you could look for your stocking, I was always so excited to find my raccoon. That would be one of my favorite Christmas traditions.
I've not had much time to think about this, but when Miranda mentioned Grandma's ornaments, I immediately thought of Grandma Fisher and the ornaments that she always gave us. And my favorite ornament that she gave us was the twinkle ornament that had our picture in the middle from... I think I was about 16 when we got them that year. And when I lived in Milford, I found a bunch of them where she had stored probably 10 or 15 of them, and she had given each one of my children, up until the time she passed away, their own twinkle ornament. And when I found these, I was so happy because I was able to give one to the two youngest children who'd never known her, because she had passed away before they were old enough to get their twinkle ornament, and I was able to get one for them. And so now on our tree, everybody has a twinkle ornament except for Kendra, because I didn't save enough because we thought we were done. But Aunt Shelley and I are going to look and see if we can find one. But I always remember being excited to get those ornaments from Grandma Fisher and see what she had done, because a lot of times she made them for us. And by the time there were several of us at home, it was a big bunch that we would get. And I still have those on my tree now. And each year I take them out with my children, and we talk about each ornament and when we got it and what she meant to me. And it's a very special memory for me to have that memory of Grandma Fisher.
Christmas tradition.
My favorite Christmas tradition is after we stay up all night. This only happened for like 3 years in the new house because Mom would make us line up on the stairs, and we'd all been up all night and it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and she'd make us all stand there and smile for the camera. That wasn't my favorite because we all hated it. But looking at the picture afterwards where we're all just glaring at the camera and all like ticked off at Mom, I think that was my favorite.
Have cameras so we didn't have to do silly stuff like this. My other favorite Christmas memory is standing in the hallway with the closet door shut. It was real nice every morning because everyone would take turns and help do the other people's chores. I don't know if it's because they were so kind or if it was because they wanted to get out to see what we got quicker, but that's one of my favorite memories, is standing in order from littlest to biggest in the hallway.
You ready?
No.
Okay. My favorite Christmas traditions were, I always remember doing the cookies. I loved doing the cookies, and I still do the cookies today. I love the frosting and the decorating, for sure. And then I also thought it was really fun when we each got to do different parts of the manger scene, and I still remember wrapping towels on my head and putting Mom's brooches on them, and just having all kinds of fun with how we looked. And then also when you got older and it was your turn to run the whole show, I really remember that and love that.
Was always the manger scene for sure. And I also liked how we'd line up on the stairs before going up in age order. That was fun.
My favorite tradition. Okay, well, pretty much the whole season was my favorite, but I really liked the little Santa where we could pick the candy, and also like we had the tradition of the manger scene where you pick like either sheep or angel. I always like to get the angel myself. I'm the angel, but I also really like doing the manger scene after we go to Martine's party and we hung out with the cousins all day. So yeah.
Well, my favorite tradition, it wasn't really on Christmas, but it was around Christmas time. So when the whole family would get together with the tubes and we go on suicide and go tubing, you go down the hill, all in the big train, and you get down and everyone would have their socks or their mittens or their suits or coats all spread out. And people are like buried in snowdrifts, and it was a good time.
Well, I'd have to say my favorite Christmas tradition would be staying up almost all night watching movies down in the basement while we'd hear footsteps upstairs. but we'd end up staying up too late and sleeping in. It was 9 or 10 before Mom and Dad came downstairs to wake us up. It was good times, good times.
One of my favorite Christmas traditions or memory I have of Christmas is how Santa Claus used to cover all the toys with sheets so that we couldn't see him when we woke up really early. And I remember Bryce used to always peek. That's mine. Amen.
It was the most exciting day when Jesus came to Earth to stay. We were there. We know it's true. He went to save both me and you. But here, let us show you how it all began. When a God was born, the Son of Man.
It came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus that all the world should be taxed. And Joseph went up out of Galilee, from Galilee out of Nazareth into Judea unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, to be taxed with Mary, his espoused wife, being great with child.
Please, sir, do you have any room?
No room. You must go elsewhere.
My wife needs a place to rest. Please, there's nowhere else.
There's a stable out back. It's quiet. You could take your wife there.
And so it was that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. And she brought forth her firstborn son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn.
And there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their sheep by night.
The night is quiet. Yes, but I feel something in the air. I feel it too. Something special is happening tonight. What is that?
It seems to be a light coming from heaven.
Fear not, for behold, I bring good tidings of great joy, which shall be to all people. For unto you is born this day in the city of David a Savior, which is Christ the Lord. And this shall be a sign unto you. You shall find the babe wrapped in swaddling clothes, lying in a manger.
angels sing, and saints and angels sing, and saints and angels sing.
Let us now go, even unto Bethlehem, and go see this thing which has come to pass, which the Lord hath made known unto us. Now let us go and share this joyful news.
We seek the King of the Jews, for we have seen his star and have come to worship him. Here's the star. Let's try to remember how it was true for this Christmas night so long ago. Remember that love and forgiveness and joy are the gifts that we keep from that sweet baby boy.
He lives. He loves us. He answered the call. He came to earth to save us all. Oh, come, ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him, Christ the Lord.
Good job, guys.
We started the Nativity tradition because we wanted to do something to help the children remember the true meaning of Christmas. I thought it would be fun to dress up and act it out, like we had done sometimes in primary and so forth. And if we did that on Christmas Eve, it would be the last thing on their minds before they went to bed, so that maybe they would think about the true meaning. We also counted the days until Christmas, starting with December 1st, by taking turns getting out a wrapped nativity piece each day and adding it to the manger scene, with baby Jesus arriving on Christmas morning. The children were to walk past the manger scene and see that he had arrived before seeing what Santa had brought. I bought a nativity set and then collected extra pieces for it until we had enough for each day of the month up until Christmas. And Doug made a stable for it. He did it quickly and claims it was just a makeshift one for 1 year, and he's amazed that we've just kept on using it all these years. I hadn't really thought about grandchildren being in our nativity production, but when the children began to marry and have children of their own, some of them still came back and joined us, so we had more to take part, and it's been lots of fun. One in particular stands out in my mind because it was different. We did it from the perspective of Christmas in America, what Christ's birth was like among the Nephites, but then still showed the manger scene from the other side of the world. And of course the ones where we could use a real baby as baby Jesus seemed very special. Some of the children are carrying on the tradition, which I think is really neat. And I hadn't really thought about what I hoped children and grandchildren and so on would gain from it, except that I hope they have an understanding of the true meaning of Christmas and an appreciation and love for the Savior.
trials take their toll, my heart will whisper Christmas, and these